We have a magic game over here? Is this? No. Oh, Dominion. Dominion's good too. Dominion is really fun. Okay, okay. Okay, alright. So, first thing first. So wait a minute, how many copies do we have?
We have 32 more copies.
32, and the waiting list has?
43.
43, okay. So we did run to my house and get my author copies. So we had 43 people on the waiting list that they didn't have books for, but we got 32 from my house. So we're at least going to get those people books. The other thing is, I just have a request. We would like to get everybody who at least got on the waiting list a book. And so if there are those of you that got 2 numbers, and one of those is just like for archive, or so it's Christmas present, it's just going to go on your shelf. If you would consider giving up your book tonight so that someone can get one, I will then sign a book and send it to you with a number and a personalization that you want me to, and I might slip something special extra in there as a thank you, okay? So if you did get 2 or 3 books and you're willing to let them go, what we need Tammy. Where's Tammy? Or a bookstore employee. Somewhere around, some bookstore employee somewhere. We need a bookstore employee. That those of you who have extra books, we need 11 extra books to make sure that everyone gets one. And so if you come to them, what we'll do is we'll get a sheet of paper, and we'll have you write down your name, and if you've pre-ordered and already purchased it, you won't have to pay anything. We'll just send it to you, and I think we'll just do the shipping for free as a thank you. And so anyway, let's, if you would go get a sheet of paper and stuff, we'll do that after I do a few Q&As. We'll send you all there, and hopefully then everybody gets a book. They weren't sure how many people would want books. Last year they ordered 400 and had some left over, and so they did 300 this year, but that was too few, so I think we need probably go back to 400. Well, see, next year is The Wheel of Time, the last book in The Wheel of Time. So, yeah, that's going to be, and originally I'd intended to do the release party in Charleston. I told that to Harriet, and she said, no, you've already got everything set up in BYU. Let's do the midnight release at BYU, and then we'll fly to Charleston the next day. So I know there are Charlestonians that'll hear this and be sad, but Harriet made the call. I was going to go do it there, and she said, well, the thing is they have the numbering system set up here and the line system and all this stuff already done at BYU, and so if there's going to be a big crazy crowd at one of the places, we should do it there, and then we'll go fly to Charleston very soon thereafter and do a signing on the tour, so the Charleston people will still get something. But Harriet's going to come here, that means, and so what we'll do probably next year is we'll have her pre-sign all the books with me ahead of time, and then she'll come up and do a presentation with me, and then she will leave rather than staying until 4 a.m. Doing stuff, but she'll come up and do a Q&A and a reading and things like that, and then you all get her signature on the book. So that'll be, excuse me, so prepare for that. Bookstore people, I need a thing of water. Where's some? Okay, excellent. Oh, there we go. Someone's on it. Wonderful. So my job right now is to entertain you for like 45 minutes so you don't rip the bookstore down and what's that? Ice, please. Thank you. Just, yeah. Don't, tear the place down. So we're going to do a Q&A for a little while here. And I think there are a few things going on. For one thing, we are going to be giving These Guys out as prizes. So we have those as prizes. So those are going to be given out. We may have some other stuff. I don't know if Isaac he usually brings prizes. So Isaac, who does the T-shirts like I'm wearing. Yes. Inkwing has given prizes, so they may have more prizes. I'm wearing an Olive Law T-shirt from Inkwing. We need to what? Huh? Someone's yelling. I need to throw a couple of T-shirts at the crowd. I can do that. All right, I'm closing my eyes. I hope I don't hit anything big. Ooh! All right, here we go. Woo! Surprise! I hope those are your sizes. If not, find someone near you that's the right size. The Inkwing people are great. Isaac, I don't know if you know who Isaac is. He actually signed all of your books ahead of time also. So your books come pre-signed by me and Isaac. Isaac did all of the maps and all of the interior art for all of the Mistborn books. So all the symbols are his, all the maps are his. He also did all of the maps in the Way of Kings. He also did Navani's sketchbook from the Way of Kings, so all the Fabriels and things like that. He's a very talented guy. And one of the things that we do is he does all these things for me, and then thank you, he does t-shirts and stuff like that, and bookmarks and wonderful stuff. So he's at Inkwing, and so if you want t-shirt, the money goes to Isaac, who does all the artwork anyway. So, and now I'll be sitting all night. I'll stand up, thank you. But we do need to get like the sheet for people who want to give up one of their books for a book later and a prize. So we need to get that coordinated, so maybe we can get 11 books, so. Okay. What else was I going to announce? Your books are all pre-signed. What that means is you can grab your book once midnight comes along, buy it and go. It has your signatures from both me and Isaac and your number in it. So if you are the type who needs to get to work tomorrow at 7 a.m. or something like this, your book is already signed. It's not personalized, but I do a lot of signings during the holidays at various bookstores, and so you can watch and come at a time that's a little more convenient to you and get your book personalized then. If you want to wait, I will stay here till all of your books are personalized. Usually we end up going, I remember, till about 3 a.m. So we'll be here signing. If your number is late, that means you'll be here till 3. So you may want to say, well, I'll just come and get him another time when he's a little less busy. Like, when I do signings in January, February, and March, when it's not a holiday, then things are a little slower, and you only have to wait like a half hour, an hour in line instead. I will sign as many books as you want me to sign when you come through the line. Though try to be aware that people might be waiting and it might get really late. So if you've got a big stack, maybe just have me put signatures in them instead of personalizations in all of them. Or, personalize one that really needs to, and then the rest just sign or something like that. My signing is really fast. I try to talk to everybody when you come through, but, if you come at me with 8 books, if everybody comes with 8 books, then we're here until 7 a.m. instead. So anyway, just keep that in mind, but I'll sign everything. So let's go ahead and do, I don't sign body parts, though. No body parts, no. I stopped that one. The first time that happened, it was some 12-year-old girl who runs up and says, "Sign my hand!" And I thought for a minute, I said, I'm just going to stop this right now and make a no body parts rule. I do sign casts and things like that and whatnot, but what's that? We are going to do also a costume contest eventually with prizes, but we're going to do that while the line is going, probably, so that we can be moving people through. So we'll have the costume contest people come up, and as you're all woven through the line, you can clap for who you like or something. I don't know, we'll find a way. Okay, so let's just get to a Q&A. And start doing a few questions, and if I think of other things I need to announce, we will do so. But what are you guys curious about knowing? Yeah.
What are some of your favorite science fiction or fantasy characters that you have not read?
Okay, great question. I'll repeat all the questions so you can hear with the speakers. What are some of my favorite fantasy and science fiction characters that I have not written? Well, excluding my books in the Wheel of Time, Sam Vimes from the Discworld books I really, really like. I have a strong affection for Harry Dresden. I really am fond of Lessa from Dragon Riders. Dragon Riders was one of my early books that I really, really liked. And so, let's see, who else? Rohan and Sionid, I don't know if I say those right, but from Dragon Prince. Dragon Prince is one of my favorite all-time books. And so, who else? Who are great characters? The Fool from the Assassin books by Robin Hobb. He, or maybe she, is really awesome. Or she, or maybe he. That's a good list for you. I would like to say Quoth, because I love those books, but I think Quoth and I wouldn't get along. I can love the books and think that Quoth is kind of a jerk, and that's part of why I love Name of the Wind, is because he is kind of a jerk. All right. Other questions? What do we got? Back here. What happens if you have a Bendeloy bubble and another Bendeloy bubble inside of it? It will compound and double, and it'll multiply. Bendeloy is one of the metals from Alloy of Law. If you haven't read it, as this person obviously has, or at least has been reading the Ars Arcanum, you'll find out what that does. But yes. All right, other questions? Does iron store mass or weight? Excellent question. The thing is, it really does, it does involve mass, but I'm breaking some physics rules, basically. In order to make it work, I have to break a number of physics rules in order to make magic work in the first place. You know, those whole laws of thermodynamics, I'm like, you're my bane. No, I try to work within the framework, and I have reasonings built up for myself, but they don't always, some of them have to be kind of arbitrary. And so the thing about it storing, it does store mass if you look at how it interacts, but I didn't, when ferrochemists punch somebody, we're not having a mass transference of something that weighs 1,000 pounds. Does that make sense? Transferring the mass into someone else. And so there are a few little tweaks. You can go talk to Peter wherever he is, because Peter has the actual math. He's my, oh, Peter's back there. Everyone, Peter is dressed up as Almancer Jack from the broadsheets. In fact, I think we're giving out broadsheets, aren't we, Peter? So when you come through the line, we are giving out broadsheets. Please don't take like 50. I think we might have enough for everybody. But the broadsheets are the newspaper in the Alloy of Law time. It's an in-world newspaper. And actually it's reproduced in the book by pages, but the broadsheet we have is actually, that there's 4 pages of it, and we put them together into one big broadsheet. So anyway, you can talk to him. He knows more about the math of it, because I explained it to him, and he's better with the actual math, and he said, okay, we're going to figure this out. So, all right, question. Hey, I know you.
Yes.
Hi.
How does Hoyd decide or know where to go when?
Okay, how does Hoyd know or decide where to go when? Who does not know who Hoyd is? Okay. If you want to know about Hoyd, the 17th Shard, which is the official fan site for my works, yes, the 17th Shard has some great information there and some great threads. There is a character who showed up in Elantris by name, who also showed up in Mistborn, who also showed up in Warbreaker, also showed up in Way of Kings. All with the same name, the same person. There's lots of theorizing about this person. How does he know? He has his ways. A little bit more, just a little bit more. He may be capable of a little bit of foreseeing of certain events, not what's going to happen, but he may need to be at a certain place at a certain time. Okay, follow up. When can you expect a Hoyd book? Hoyd, it'll be a little while. He is playing around with things in the Stormlight Archive. If you couldn't tell, he has decided to, he's fiddling with things more than he normally does. But the Hoyd as a major part of things doesn't show up until the 3rd Mistborn trilogy, which is the outer space Mistborn, the science fiction Mistborn. Okay, if you didn't know, Mistborn was pitched to my editor as a trilogy of trilogies. I came to him and said, I want to do a trilogy of epic fantasy books, and then I want to do the same world in a modern setting. Which we aren't to yet, but it's going to be, basically Allomancer's in the 21st century equivalent technology. It's an urban fantasy series, and then I want to do a science fiction series in the same world, using the epic fantasy world is now the mythology of this new world, and the magic system has become the means of space travel. And so that's how I pitched the Mistborn series to my editor. Alloy of Law is actually kind of a little deviation I did because I didn't want people to forget about Mistborn. I wanted them to keep reading Mistborn, and so I wanted to keep releasing things. We'll eventually get to that second trilogy. Hey, how you doing, Mark? I heard you were #1. You're crazy. You're awesome, though. Yeah, he even beat the 17 Shark People, which is really a hard thing to do. He got here first. 2 hours, beat him by 2 hours. So, Alloy of Law, I wanted to start setting up things for the second trilogy. I didn't want to do the second trilogy yet, because the second trilogy, like the first trilogy, is kind of bigger books with a very involved storyline across 3 books, and I didn't want to be releasing that parallel to Stormlight Archive, which is the same sort of thing. Very involved books where they're connected, the one runs right into the other, and so I wanted to do a series of some Mistborn novels that were more independent. Alloy of Law is intended to be, read it, have fun. I eventually may do more with these characters, but when I do, you won't have to really remember that much about this one. It's not like you have to remember a cast of 500 characters. You just basically keep track of the main characters, and you have another kind of more episodic adventure. I kind of imagine Alloy of Law being like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like you have the big movie series, and then this is like the television series that happens for a few seasons in between, and then we have another big movie series or something like that, if that makes any sense. So that's what Alloy of Law is. Anyway, so Hoyt is very involved in the third Mistborn trilogy, and he is also very involved in Dragonsteel, which is actually the first books in the sequence, long before Elantris happened. But yeah. So eventually, I will tell that story. You can read a draft of it at the BYU library. They have the only copy that I know of in existence. It's almost always checked out. It was my honors thesis. It's not very good. It's really not very good, but it is basically. It's involving the ideas that eventually will become Dragonsteel once I write it again. Though I already stole the Shattered Plains and put them in Roshar instead because they fit better there. Okay, you already had okay, one more. Really? What about interlibrary loan though?
But I'm not a student.
No. If you go to like a local library, they may be able to get it through interlibrary loan. See? Or you can just go to the BYU library and read some of it in the library. It's really not very good. So, just telling you. It's really not very good. But Hoyt is a main character in that. So.